Okay. All right. So from the top of the mat, we'll just try to be relatively efficient in our warm-up. Let's bring the hands together. Roll the shoulders back so you feel the chest lift up toward your thumb. But notice how if you do that too much, your lowest ribs will poke forward. So there's a balance here. We still want to let our waistline move back. Let's release the arms down on an exhale. Reach up for an inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Come halfway up for an inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. You might want to wiggle around, or you might want it to be pretty stationary. After your next exhale, step, walk, or jump your feet forward. Inhale when you get there. I come to fingertips so I can get the chest further forward. Exhale to fold. Rise up. Inhale. Let's fold again for the exhale. Halfway up to the inhale. Step or jump. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Down dog B for the exhale. So our hips come up and back, our elbows come down so they're behind the wrists. Drop the head. Wiggle around however you need. One more breath. Let's straighten the arms. After your exhale, step, walk, or jump. Inhale when you get to the top. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Let's fold again, exhale. Come halfway up, inhale. You can also have your hands on your shins. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale to dolphin. So our hips move up and back, elbows come down, and this time we'll interlace our fingers. Practice pushing the edge of the hand down into the floor. I like to tuck the bottommost pinky in so that my 2 pinkies are a united front against the mat. You don't have to do it that way, but if you're going to be in a headstand for a long time, sometimes that bottom pinky starts to feel squished. Okay, release the hands flat, straighten the arms, downward dog. After your exhale, step, walk, or jump forward. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. We'll fold again for the exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale for Baddha Sirsasana A. So down dog will turn into down dog B. Then it will turn into dolphin. And we'll start walking our feet in, head down. Just keep walking your feet in until your legs start to float off the ground. You can keep pressing your legs together, the inner edges of the feet together. You can go up all the way to vertical or not that far. You could always keep an eye on your toes. Let's return our feet to the floor. Keep pressing to the edge of your hand so you can get your head off the ground. Separate the hands for down dog B. Straighten the arms for normal downward dog. Take a breath. And after your exhale, step, walk, or jump forward. Inhale there. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Fold again for the exhale. Halfway up for the inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, we'll turn this into Baddha Hasta C if A went well for you. So from down dog, bend your elbows to the floor. If A did not go well for you, interlace your fingers and try it again. Otherwise, keep your palms flat, lower the head, walk your feet in. You're just gonna have to move your butt a little bit more over your wrists so that you can get your legs up. Balance is a little trickier. So that means for me that I go slower. We'll make our way down to the floor again. Feet down. I went very fast. Hopefully you went slower. Lift the head, straighten the arms, take a breath. After your exhale, step, walk, or jump forward. Inhale at the top. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. And let's lower the arms, exhale. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana, inhale. Fold forward. Exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Just send the left leg back. Warrior one. Reach up. Let's take hold of Steeple Mudra and use the right hand to help pull your left arm straighter so that you stretch more through the left psoas. And fingertips down, back foot forward, chest is going to reach forward as you step, and then step the right foot back, swing that right heel to the floor. See how heel to heel alignment will reach up. Interlace the fingers. This time try to get your left arm to pull your right arm a little higher so that it feels like something enormous is happening in that right hip flexor region. For me, it travels all the way up toward the waist. The tightness never seems to go away. Okay, let's place the hands. Step back, vinyasa. Shake out your head. Relax your neck. There is no reason to be tense at this moment. Right leg up high. Inhale. Send it forward to the hands. Exhale. Warrior one. Inhale. This time link your thumbs, bend your elbows, and try to get your knuckles back. Your elbows back. When you feel like you've reached your max, slide your arms to straight. Let the chin lift a bit so that your ears are between your upper arms. Good. Hands come down. And let's just step into downward dog. So we can lift the left leg high for an inhale. And step to the hands, exhale. Warrior one. Thumbs interlace, or link, I should say. Try to go the thumb that feels goofy. Open through the armpits, open through the throat, and straighten the arms. Back leg straight, right hip swings forward. Lower the hands, exhale for chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing. Exhale for downward facing. Let's come to hands and knees. Walk the hands forward, Anahatasana. Chin down. Armpits toward the floor. Belly in. Return to your tabletop so that you can lift your knees and press to downward dog. Right leg up high, inhale, step to the hands, exhale. I'm gonna slide back just to stay on the camera. So we're just gonna lift the back leg off the ground and let the fingers slide forward so they go with our shoulders. You gently return to your lunge again. That left foot will land, the hands will slide back. So inhale, launch yourself forward. And exhale, gently land in your lunge. Let's do that twice more. Try to keep the ball of your right foot anchored. Try to keep your belly in so that there's not this element of falling. Let's launch that left leg up the last time. Turn it into Ardha Chandrasana. Left hip up, left arm up. Gaze up. Okay, fingers down. Left foot will meet right foot. Inhale here. Step the right foot back for your exhale. So you're just going to lunge on the other side. Propel yourself forward. Inhale, keeping that right leg straight. Exhale to lower it down. 3 more times. The fingers will help us keep the balance, but they're not really super heavy on the ground. Really the belly drawing in, that left foot pressing down. So we'll meet with the right leg up, turn it into Ardha Chandrasana, hip up, arm up, collarbones open. Okay, right fingers down, right foot next to left foot. Inhale there. Fold forward, exhale. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. Inhale. Let's straighten the legs. I think some of you are not at the top of your mat, some of you are. Let's come toward the top of your mat if you're not already. And bend into the knees, Utkatasana. Fold forward as you exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Just send the left leg back, exhale. Open it up to warrior 2. Straighten the right leg. Rebend the right leg. Right hand, big toe side of foot. And keep your right hand there. Re-straighten the right leg. And rebend, exhale. We'll just do that one more time. Warrior 2, inhale. Right hand down, exhale. Right leg straight, inhale. And right leg bends, exhale. Release the fingers down in front, back foot forward, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Warrior 2, inhale. Stay there for the exhale, just organize so that the pelvis is neutral. Straighten the leg, inhale. Bend the knee, place the hand. Straighten the leg, inhale. Bend the knee, exhale. We'll keep the knee bent as we rise up to warrior 2. Try to find that neutral pelvis again. Lower the hand. Straighten the leg, inhale. And bend, exhale. Release the hands down, step back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. We'll come into a Baddha Hasta A again, but this time we'll go up with our feet a little wider. So let's come to hands and knees. Lower to the elbows, measure it out. We're just going to start with our feet mat's width. And then it's the same as what you did before. Just walk it in, come to tippy toes. And let's just keep our legs at about that width as we bring them up. And still, you can choose how high you go. They do not have to go all the way up. Once you get to your height, bring your legs in again, toward each other, squeeze them together, take a breath, separate them again to what you think is mat's width. You might not be able to see them, so you're just guessing, and start to lower them back down. You can hone in on mat's width as you get close to the floor, and we'll just lift the head, step the feet toward each other for normal downward dog. Shake out the head and neck. Right leg up high, inhale, step to the hands, exhale, warrior two, inhale, to Parsvakonasana, right hand again on the big toe side of the foot, either left arm up, or behind the back, or over the ear. So use that right shoulder pushing into the knee to help you twist open a little bit more. Let's keep the hand there as we straighten the leg for triangle. Just see what that's like. It's not a traditional triangle, but there's always value in knowing what this new choreography feels like. Let's rebend the front knee, place both hands on the big toe side of the foot, and lift the back heel. You may want your right foot further over to the side. That is fine. Okay, normal plank hands, step into plank, and on your exhale, cycle through your vinyasa, so that we wind up in down dog and we can come to the other side. Left leg will lift, step it forward, find your warrior two, that's a heel to arch alignment, that neutral pelvis. You can use your hands to create that in any way. And when you're ready, left hand down. Maybe it's on a block. If you don't have a block handy, maybe you just do fingertips. Or maybe it feels fine with the palm flat. Whatever you did with your top arm on the other side. We'll turn it into triangle. Right arm up, left leg straight. If you can't get your left leg straight, you might change your left hand. You can slide it back. You can change the block height. Make it work. Okay, hands will come down into lizard. We'll lift the back heel. We'll stay put here for a moment. Later, we'll be turning this into more gnarly forms of lizard. Right now, it's very friendly. But notice if the back leg is droopy, this would be a droopy back leg, my hips are pretty low. Instead, if we straighten the back leg a lot and squeeze the thighs together, see how the hips rise? Let's do that. Okay, hands to plank distance, step back, lower down on your exhale. Cycle through your vinyasa. We'll come into our tabletop. So that again, we can lower to the forearms. If the lifting of the legs from mat's width did not work so well with the fingers interlaced, try it again. Otherwise, palms flat, head down, bottom hasta C, starting with this mat's width toes. So it will change maybe how far in you walk your feet. And you'll have to push into your fingers quite a lot. Eventually, you get your legs to the height that you feel comfortable. You could bring them together for a breath. When you're ready, find that mat's width feet, and eventually bring the feet down again. We'll meet in a normal downward dog. The feet are hips width, the hands are shoulder width. Lift the heels high for an inhale. Bend your knees. Exhale, look forward and stepward jump. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees. Utkatasana. Let's twist to the right. Hook your left elbow. Let's stay here and just deepen the twist a smidge. We'll be in this a few times throughout, so it doesn't have to be crazy right now. Let's push our knee and arm together a little bit more firmly. Look down, step the left foot back. Twisted lunge. Once your foot is back there, look up again. Maybe your left arm can slide further over the leg. Okay, unravel. Lizard round 2. Hands to the big toe side of the foot. This time, let's turn that right foot out to the side, lower the left knee down, and let the right knee move away from us. Decide if you want to stay on the palms or come to the elbows. We'll just take one more breath here. We'll keep everything the same, except we're going to lift the back knee off the floor and try to do that same scissoring action that you did in the other form of lizard when the knee was in and the foot was flat. Your hips will rise up. You'll feel like your legs are communicating with each other a bit. Okay, let's return to palms if you're on your elbows. Now turn your right toes to face the left side of the mat, also at a diagonal, and just come into that half squat, half leg extension. If possible, your right heel is on the ground. Let's reach our arms in opposite. Just spin around. So we're going to have our right shoulder inside of our right knee, pushing that right knee back. Okay, so no hands or hands, you decide. We're going to shift our weight and find goddess pose. So we come to the center place, heels are in, toes are out, hands to the thighs, lean forward, and your straight arms are just going to push your knees back. So it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get the knees to move back. There is a good opportunity here to practice Uddiyana Bandha. Because if you don't, your belly will hang out toward the ground. And it's a very tangible difference. Okay, let's walk our hands toward the top of the mat, Vinyasa. From down dog, we'll make our way to the top of the mat, step, walk, or jump to get there. Inhale when you do get there. Fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, Uttanasana, and we take our twist over to the left. Perfectly normal to have your thumbs up by your shoulder, but let's try to lift our chest higher, away from the thigh, and get our thumbs to the center of the chest. Look down, push your knee and leg, or knee and arm, I should say, together. You can't push your leg into your leg if you only have one there. And let's step it back. Look up. Let your right armpit slide a little further over so that there's more contact with arm and leg, or the contact is higher up on your arm. Okay, unravel. Lizard. We turn our left toes to the left a bit, right knee down. Depending on your hip, your knee will come out to the side some amount. Eventually, the inner edge of the foot will lift up. But your ankle is still sturdy. Maybe elbows down, take one more breath here. It's a very nice, friendly, relaxing pose. But let's lift the back knee and try to scissor the legs more. You'll feel the right hip move forward a bit. The more you scissor, the higher the hips go. This will be very relevant in the thing that I mentioned that we may or may not do later. We're just chipping away into the possibilities. Let's return to the palms. Turn the left foot to face the right side of the mat and squat. You could always put a block underneath your butt. Bring your left shoulder inside of your knee. And if your heel, your left heel, is not quite on the ground, it might mean that your right foot is just too close to you. So reach your right leg a little further back. And then your butt is a little more centered. Okay, so hands or no hands, we find goddess pose. Takes a lot of quad strength to get your butt up from there. Either repeat what we did before, hands inside the knees, or go a little deeper into it, hands inside the ankles, elbows inside the knees. This is a prep that we're using for frog pose. There are very few of us that this pose comes naturally. So let's get out of here. Let's release the hands down to the top of the mat and vinyasa. Okay, let's come to hands and knees again. So we'll try our Baddha Shirsasana A again, this time with our feet off the mat. Maybe 8 inches to each side of the mat. You decide on how your flexibility feels. Measure out your elbows, interlace your fingers. This is the headstand form that I said I tuck my bottom pinky in. But otherwise, it's the same idea of coming to tippy toes. You just let your legs make a big circle. I'm going to come down prematurely because I want to watch. And start your descent. Try to get your feet to again land off the mat to the sides. Pretty much where you want them to land, so they don't just accidentally come down. Good. Then lift your head, walk yourself into a normal downward dog. Let's bring our right foot forward to the hands. Lower the left knee down. We'll bring both hands to the big toe side of the foot. We'll try to bend the elbows enough to get our shoulder underneath the knee. It might be your tricep underneath your knee, or even your elbow underneath the knee. But either way, you can feel that your legs are working hard to keep your hips up, and your torso is leaning forward and down. Take another breath there. We'll unravel the arms. Find your prayer twist. You can just lift your back heel in order to get into the twist with more ease. You can decide to keep your back heel up, or you could replace it on the floor. You can keep your hands in prayer and try to get your thumbs to the center of your chest. Or you can play with arms, reaching up and down or binding around you, all kinds of things. Take 2 more breaths. Okay, we'll slowly unwind. I'm just going to back up, but you stay put. We're going to bring our left foot through and forward so we can have a seat. Or just sit down some other way. We're going to go for a Marichyasana prep, so it's not actually a pose. The right foot is going to face the side of the mat. I even have my toes literally dangling off the mat. Left leg straight, facing up. Reach your right arm up and over to the left leg, or even the left foot. Use your left hand out to the side to make sure you don't fall over to the left. And use your right hip and glute strength to keep your right knee moving back so that it's not dropping in toward your right shoulder. Okay, let's slowly rise up out of there. We'll bring our right foot to face front again so that we can return to our lunge. That left foot will just step back and vinyasa. When you're ready, step the left foot forward, angle your right foot. That's going to help with balance. Hands will come big toe side of the foot, and start to bend your elbows so your torso comes down. When you feel able, reach your left arm under the leg. If you feel like the arm is not cooperating under there, just have your hand on the floor instead of up, because then maybe you can help yourself nudge further into it. You could drop the head and just stare at your back leg. You could also drop the head more and stare at your belly. Draw it in. Okay, let's undo the arms. We'll make our way into prayer twist. To the back heel, you could lift if you wanted. I even come up pretty high to get into it. Otherwise, there's like, it's just harder to mobilize. Otherwise, the thumbs will be on my shoulder forever. If you want arm variations, the first step is going to be get your thumbs to your chest, because the arm has to know how to push into the leg enough to make that happen. And once that happens, the arm stuff is not quite as hard as it looks. Take another breath or two. We'll unravel, make our way to the floor. So that right knee is going to come in toward the chest as you extend yourself to the sitting position. Left foot out to the side. Check that your right knee is facing up. So press your calf muscle into the floor. If the folding forward is too much, just stay here and use your left arm to push your knee back. Otherwise, reach your hand toward your foot. Now there's nothing pushing the knee back. If it's inevitable for you right now that the knee comes forward like this, then don't go as low. Fold to the place where you can control the location of the left knee. Okay, let's rise up. We'll turn the left foot to face front again so that we can lift our butt, lift our right leg through, and vinyasa. So we did our Baddha Hasta A, throw a straddle. Now let's try C. So that's the one where the palms are flat. But if A didn't work for you, then do that again. So measure it out. You might measure it out every time you go up till you're dead. There's never a time where you're just going to plunk your elbows down. 100% confidence they're in the right place. So legs wide. Come onto your tippy toes. Push into your elbows. And take your time. In the bottommost portion, slow it down a bit because it's going to be the hardest 12 inches of the whole thing. And let's land the feet again. Good, and we'll meet in downward dog. Carol, slow it down. Okay, so you see what I mean about the bottom 12 inches. bring our thumbs to touch toward the left side of the mat, just so that we can step our right foot outside of the right hand. We're going to keep our hands there, keep our right foot there. We're just going to shift our weight forward and lift the left leg up and bring it down again into that lunge. Just 2 more times. I know it's a little odd, but we're developing some strength in that right hip that we will be needing later, as well as we have to figure out how to lift that left leg. Okay, so bring your left foot outside of your left hand and step your right foot back. So we're just on the other side. You can always adjust on your mat so it's still comfy. And pretty much your fingers and left toes are lined up. We'll shift our weight forward, lift your right leg. And you're reaching the leg back. And let it land again into your lunge. And just try that 2 more times. Try to figure out what is lifting your leg. How does it feel in your hamstring to get your leg up? Okay, the next time your leg is down, walk the hands to the right, quarter turn. For Prasarita A. Hands down between the feet, inhale, and head down, exhale. If you have tight hamstrings, stay there. If you want to work headstand, lift up to your tripod. You'd be coming up through the straddle, just like we did before. I'm going to watch. And Carrie, try to put your arms in the sockets a little bit more. That's going to help your chest move through your legs, which your hamstrings are just going to love. Carol, you're a little bit in a pike. Bring your legs down if you're up. Go very slow in the bottom 12 inches. In those moments that you don't want to go slow.
How do I look?
You look like a black square with the word Rob and white writing. So in other words, looking pretty good. I can imagine anything I want for you. All right, let's bring the hands over to the right leg. We'll find our lizard again. This time adding a twist and a stretch for the back leg. Either left forearm down or left arm straight, reach back. Either pull your foot in or kick your foot away. And as you're doing this, keep letting your right knee move out to the side a little bit so that it imitates pigeon. Okay, bring it through. And let's find our Prasarita again. So quarter turn to the side. This time reach for your big toes or your ankles or shins and fold with the strength of your arms pulling you through. If you can get the weight just a millimeter forward, so it's not quite as heavy in your heels, you will change your hamstring stretch quite a bit. Okay, we'll straighten the arms for an inhale, walk the hands toward the left foot, find your lizard with your twist, left hand for the back foot. I think I've already told you that I like to shrug that front shoulder up toward the ear just to do a little bit more for the psoas. Okay, let that go. And find the top of your mat, vinyasa. Let's walk hands to feet. Bend the knees. Let your chest rest on your legs. Start to draw your belly in. Drop your tailbone down. And roll up very slowly. Eventually, We are standing. And you can stay at the back of your mat. I'm just going to face front. There's not really anywhere to go. Right ankle to lower left thigh, and we fold. So you've done a lot of hip work already. Feel free to stay here if this feels like enough for you. Otherwise, reach through your little number 4 here with your right arm, hold your foot with your left hand, and bring it up to standing. It's quite difficult to stand up straight, left leg straight, and we're trying to lift the foot but let the knee drop down, just like you would at your flying pigeon, just that you've taken it to this other extreme. Okay, escort your ankle again to your thigh. Let's add a twist. Bring your elbow toward the arch of your foot. If you can, go even further to the what am I trying to say? Oh, it's hard to talk. Yowzers, my hip is on fire, but it feels good. Take one more breath here. Okay, let's get out of there. Lordy, and shake it out. Ah, okay. Other side. Left ankle to lower right thigh. First, just flying pigeon, which can be very friendly. But as you see, we progress it to spots that are maybe a little less friendly. So either stay there or start to stand up. And the relationship between foot and knee stays the same. We'll try to bring our shoulders so they line up with the hips. If your hip is not quite flexible enough, you might still be leaning forward. That will change over time. Okay, and let's bring it down again. Add your twist. It's fine if you get as far as the forearm. Eventually you'll be comfy with the elbow. If you could draw your belly in more, I like to use the right hand to stabilize the heel. Then I can sneak my left arm further over. Yikes, until I'm in this zone. That is quite intense. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Ooh, shake it out. That was fun. So, we're going to curl down again. So first just stand normal. Then drop your chin to your chest. Draw your belly in and up. And start to visualize yourself like a little cinnamon bun. You curl in on yourself. You can let the knees bend any amount that feels comfortable. But the belly is always drawing in. It's like the edge of a conveyor belt. When your hands get to the floor, walk into downward dog. Okay, let's jump through and have a seat. Let's baby cradle the right leg for a moment. And place your right hand on the pinky toe side of your foot. Extend the leg out. Left hand can just be out to the side to help you with balance. And pull the knee back, like it's a happy baby but sitting up. And do that another time. Stretch it forward, and then pull it back. Good. So this aspect of pulling it back, we're going to take with us to Marchasana A. Place the foot down, pretty close to your sitting bone. Reach your arm forward and around. And really, we're trying to get our spine closer to the floor than our right thigh bone. just like you would in a happy baby. That relationship is just kind of a tucked in feeling. Okay, let's rise up. And we'll turn this into Upavishta Konasana. Open the legs to a V. Reach out for the edges of your feet and fold. You can have a block or a bolster under your torso. Sometimes that feels really nice. Okay, and let's rise up. We'll baby cradle the left leg. This is all just a prep for Mari A, because it's all a hip thing. We kind of get distracted by the bind, but really every pose is built from the bottom up. So the hip thing first, the bind comes eventually. Let's hold left foot with left hand, press the foot forward, and pull the leg back. One more time like that. If you have a wall behind you, you can literally try to touch the wall with your knee. That's sometimes fun. It's like a foot behind the head prep type of thing. And we'll place the foot down, lean the chest forward, and wrap around if you want. Just like we did earlier with that lunge where you had your airplane wings under the leg. If you don't want your arms up, you could just keep them out to the side on the floor. It would help with balance, and it might even help get your torso a little lower. Okay, we'll rise up, and we'll start with the V shape that we had in Upavishta, but we're going to turn it into Samakonasana. Not really going to ever be full Sama. It's going to be our version of Sama. So we're just going to let our pelvis move forward inch by inch. The feet move further and further apart until eventually you're in a straight line with your legs, or your legs say enough. So I stop at about here. This is maybe 140 degrees, something like that. It's definitely not 180. When you're there, just try to find Mula Bandha so that you can sit up tall. Okay, release your hands, wiggle your legs in toward one another. And let's go for double pigeon, right leg on top. We're going to add a twist to the left. So either your elbow, your tricep, or your armpit toward your foot. Either your right forearm on the floor and your hand just pressing it down to help you twist, or your palms to prayer so that you can lift your chest up, so that instead of your thumbs near your shoulder, your thumbs are right at the center of your chest. Let's untwist. And before we do the other side, either keep sitting like this, or take lotus, or just cross your legs somehow. Once you're sitting, reach your arms up, interlace the fingers, press the palms up, and then tilt over to one side, keeping both hips heavy. So we're not tipping over, we're just side bending. We'll come through center and over to the other side. So you can tell how that hip wants to lift. Don't let it. If it's inevitable, it means you've gone too far. Come through center, over to the first side. And make your way over to the second side, last time. This is just good work for the obliques to catch us. Okay, let that go. And let's go double pigeon, other leg on top. Flex the feet. I lift my butt and resettle the hips here. Just a little trick, maybe, to help you get comfy. And we twist. Another trick. So the more you practice, the more tricks you're going to have. Things that I tell you to do are just things that work for me. But when you take with other teachers, you'll hear all kinds of other stuff. So I get stuck about here. So I reach my left hand to my right shoulder and I use it to pull me. And I can maybe walk it down the arm. And then eventually I'm deeper in the pose. And notice how your left sitting bone is trying to get light because it's trying to help you twist a little deeper. But we need to anchor it down as much as possible and bring that right shoulder back, curl back instead. Let's untwist. Take your half lotus, full lotus, cross-legged, or stay in your double pigeon. Hips are down. Inhale. Interlace fingers, and we'll just do the same thing we did. We're just going over to one side, rising up, over to the other side. It's fun to stay there a little bit extra too, because you'll notice that shaking starts. That's a fun little place to be. See, how are your obliques going to get you out of this little quandary that you put yourself in? Okay, when you're done with twice around, release your hands, release your legs, and let's just vinyasa. Okay, I think we cannot delay anymore. Frog pose. So this is the one where I like to do it one foot on my mat and one on the towel. That way, when I slide out, there's somewhere to go. But you can have both legs on the mat. We'll have our feet flexed, our knees bent about 90 degrees. And we're attempting to get our hips lined up with our knees. It's very tempting to sit too far back or too far forward. We'll let the pelvis drop toward the floor. And we're not just willy-nilly letting our legs slide apart. We're also pushing the knees down into the floor as if we want them to come together. I like to alternate breaths, doing that so that they can slide a bit further, and then I squeeze it in to maintain the composure of the pose. At this point, though, I'm not going to slide mine any further apart because I need my legs to stay attached to my body. So to get out of this, usually we slide forward, but for today, let's try to squeeze the knees in a little bit more, bring the toes to touch, and take a wide-kneed child's pose. Okay, let's walk our hands back. Bring yourself into tabletop. On your inhale, arch. And on your exhale, round. Let's do that one more time. Okay, let's find our neutral for a moment. We'll reach our right leg back and our left arm forward. We're going to touch our left elbow to our right knee underneath us and extend it out again. Let's do that 2 more times. Try to initiate the movement from your abdominals so that it's not just your limbs flailing around. And lower your limbs plural, and lift the other side. Right arm out, left leg back, and we tuck it in. So it's the same kind of thing as your cat-cow, how you initiate with the bandhas there. But because it gets a little fancier, we start trying to just flail about. So we need to get back to the basics of it, which is bandha control. Okay, when you've done 3 on that side, just press the downward dog. Let's walk hands back to feet. Bend the knees, and just like you did before, we'll start rolling up. So this also is a bandha thing. So keep drawing the belly in so that you feel like your spine is the edge of that conveyor belt and that it feels kind of safe and protected. Okay, let's reach our right hand to the pinky toe side of our right foot and lift the foot up. So, as much as you can, straighten the leg out to the front, and as much as you can, pull the knee back, kind of like your happy baby. And just do that a few more times, as slow as you want, and through whatever range. And we're trying to keep the left leg straight. The next time that your right leg is straight out in front of you, bring your left hand to replace your right hand and twist. So now the left thumb is going to face down to the floor. And the more you kick, the easier it is to balance. Does not mean your leg has to be straight, it just means you have to have some power in the leg. You could keep reaching your right hand back. I can notice right now that my hip is not getting its maximum stretch. So I'm going to slide my right thumb into the hip crease and push it down just a bit. Because I could tell there was some cheating going on there in my hip, maybe because my side body is tight, who knows. Okay, let's release the foot down, shake it out. So there's a lot of poses where you have one arm doing stuff and the other arm is free. So you can always adjust your body with the free arm. Okay, let's try the other side. So left hand will come to left foot. We'll try to get the sole of the foot to face front. And we'll extend it out any amount. And bring it back as if the knee is going to touch the wall behind you. Okay, the next time that your leg is out in front of you, reach your right hand there. Woo! Little earthquake happened on my mat. And decide, do you want your left hand back? Do you want the thumb in the hip crease helping push the hip down? Another thing that I've found is fun sometimes is to reach up. There's all kinds of ways you can reach behind your back and you play with it so that you feel like something is opening. Okay. And let's slowly release. Oh Lord. Okay, hands to the lower thighs. We'll just do a few standing cat-cows. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. And see if you can initiate this with Mula Bandha. So when you arch, you're letting your butt stick out, your sitting bones move apart. Now when you're going to round, draw your sitting bones together. So literally the muscle that connects them engages. That's going to tuck your tailbone under. And it does help to do it slowly. You'll have more control. Okay. And let's meet just standing in neutral. We will go back to this place very soon. But let's bring feet together, hands together in prayer. We're just going to lift the right knee toward the chest and extend it back like warrior 3 so the torso comes down in response to the leg. Return to that curl in place, knee to chest, standing up, and return to your warrior 3 place. So we'll just do it a total of 3 times on each side. The slower you go, the easier your balance is going to be. But also try to find the range, full range for you. Okay, so after that side, should be that the left leg feels like it was working a lot. Also, one thing to notice, because I'm like watching the screen as I'm doing it, sometimes when we're in Warrior 3, there's a back bend happening, but that is not the pose. So don't let your belly sag toward the floor, keep it in. Let's try side 2 with that in mind. So left knee comes up. It's like a little crunch, but you happen to be standing. And keep that idea of belly in as you extend the foot back. And then you'll feel a little more like your waistline lifts toward the ceiling. And this is definitely a do what I say, not what I do kind of example. I find this very difficult. Good. All right, so bring the foot down, shake it out. So just to get a little more of that control, I'm putting my shirt up so you can see, and then I'm gonna walk forward a bit. Okay. So we're gonna do that Uddiyana Kriya. You would have your hands on your thighs, but I'm gonna put mine behind the back just so you can see the belly more. We're gonna exhale fully and contract. You become hollow. And when you need to inhale, you let the contraction go. And just do that a few times. If it's easy to do there, you can do it standing. And there's this extreme kind of jagged edge that becomes your rib cage. It's like as emaciated as you're ever going to get. One way to really get the blood pumping and the heat generated, and this I would recommend if you could, like for 20 times in the morning before you have any coffee or water, flutter the contraction. So I could maybe flutter it like 8 times before I had to breathe, and then I would just do it again. This is called Uddiyana Kriya. It's just a very extreme variation on Uddiyana Bandha. So let's try to find Uddiyana Bandha. First, you'd find that deep contraction of the Kriya. Let it go an inch so you can breathe, and there it is. So if I held in any more than this, I would not be able to talk. But there's still this kind of feeling of in and up. But it's not as intense as the one that takes your breath away. So let's find downward dog. Take your time. And just see if you can find the Uddiyana Bandha here. Not as deep as the Kriya. Don't hold your breath. Put the hollowing feeling. This also will help with twists because now you know how to get smaller. So all that stuff we did on Friday, we were making ourselves into like these tiny little shapes. This will help with that. Okay, let's jump through, have a seat. For Marichyasana C. Let's see if this helps in our twists. So right heel close to your sitting bone, left arm comes around. And if you don't draw the belly in, you'll kind of get stuck on the thigh. So you draw it in as much as you can. Slide that arm over, bind if you can. That feels pretty good. Hallelujah. Okay, let's untwist. We're going to do another twist to the same side. Plunk your right foot down on the outside of your left leg and decide if you want your left leg straight or if you want to bend it. We'll go for Ardha Matsyendrasana. But the leg straight would just be maybe a variation your knee enjoys. So we'll try to twist again deeply. Roll the flesh of your right thigh in so that you can get your armpit very close to the leg. And then the process of reaching your right hand to your foot is not as big of a deal. If you don't have this connection, reaching down is going to hurt the elbow. It's going to make you stop breathing. So like everything, you have to take it step one first. Okay, let's unravel. We're going to come into Dragonfly from this ground position, which I don't actually enjoy, but some of you might. I like to get into it a different way. But we'll see how it goes. So the right ankle will stay on the left thigh. We'll just bend the left leg so the foot is down and start to lift the hips up so that now the butt is up. And you can start to bring your arm around. So now your right arm will be on your foot. And you can have your hands down, so they're going to face the long edge of the mat. You'll start to step onto your arm so that eventually your left foot can lift up. I have a very hard time getting the twist deep enough if I enter it from this position. But some of you will like it. And we'll try it again from another position in a few minutes. Okay, so let's go for Marichyasana C, side 2.
Can you explain that again, Rachel? I missed where the foot and the arm connect.
So the sole of the foot is facing sideways, and I'm going to try to get my arm over, like higher than the elbow. Remember when we were in this double pigeon twist? It's the same thing as that, just with your sole of foot on the ground. And then when you come up, it's like a rolling over to get that left foot off the ground. So the arch of the foot has to be at least higher than the elbow in the twist. Okay. And this, the twist aspect of that is way harder than the actual arm balance. Okay, let's try the other side. All of this nonsense. Starting with left knee up. Hug the knee to the right shoulder. Hook the arm if you can. Bind around the leg if you can. If you feel like you get stuck, remember that Uddiyana Kriya that you did. Maybe don't go that deep, but create that same hollowness. Okay. Let's untwist. We'll place the left foot outside of the right knee. Keep the right leg straight or bend it. Both sit bones on the floor and twist. So bringing your chin toward your left shoulder. That might eke out another inch. Good, and let's get out of there. So we'll sit with our left ankle on our lower right thigh. And this we've done 1,000 times throughout the 9 months of COVID. This is no problem. Adding the twist is the problem. So we'll let our butt lift up. Maybe even that right heel will lift up. And we'll add the twist by bringing the left arm to that left foot. If you're only getting it to the wrist or the forearm, You're not going to take the arm balance. If you're getting it to the elbow or above, lift your right heel so that you can place your hands. They'll face the long edge of the mat. Lean. Press your foot into your arm so that you can get your right leg off the ground. So it's really keeping your hips up high by pushing down. At least I know this is your favorite pose, but maybe getting into it this way is not your favorite way. Oh, okay, it worked. All right. Okay, let's vinyasa. Okay, we're just going to take a tripod with a little twist. We'll bring one knee to the opposite elbow and then the other, etc. So take your time, and it does not have to go all the way to touch the elbow. You're just going to reach it toward the elbow. So get comfy in your tripod and then bring the knee in and across and down. And the leg that stays up is going to have to be extra strong. Just take about 2 each side. And come down and rest whenever you've done your 2 on each side. Good. Often we've done the knee to elbow thing, and you'll notice how much harder the twist makes it. Good. All right. So whenever you've wound up descended, we'll come onto our butts. We'll have our legs out in front of us comfortably. Just hold on to the shins. Lift your chest up so it's easy to sit. With the hands helping us, this is lovely. So we're going to turn it into a C shape instead. So pretend someone just punched you in the gut and your waist will move back. So that you're basically a C shape from your tailbone to your head. And if you can, lift your arms off your legs. If that hurts in any way, don't lift your arms. To keep this C shape, like you're holding a beach ball here with your arms, we're just going to take it over to one side. Without changing the C, or maybe even deepening the C, you might want to come back a little bit more. You might want to twist a little bit more. Find a way to turn everything on through your core. My little Gato likes this pose. Oh, I love this creature. Oh my God, she's so soft. Okay, we'll come through center, staying in the C shape, and over to the other side. It's almost like we're trying to roll down toward our low back, but we're keeping our shoulders leaning forward. This is another way to help make the shapes smaller. We might have done this on Friday, but we might not have. Add this to your repertoire. Let's come through center. We'll reach forward, rock toward the sitting bones, and sit up. Okay, vinyasa. My girl, what's that, my girl? She feels homeless right now. That's what we call that when she can't decide where to put her butt. Here, put your butt on this towel. Come here. Put your butt on this towel, little girl. Okay. There you go. All right. So let's step our feet forward about halfway and just roll yourself up. So let's face the long edge of the mat. Doesn't matter which side you face. I'm going to face you, because otherwise you'll just be watching my butt. So we're just going to come into Dragonfly in what I think is the easier way, because our butt is already lifted. So we'll place our right ankle on our lower left thigh. Flying pigeon is basically where it starts. So if flying pigeon is enough for you, stay. When you can, twist. You've got to get higher than the elbow if you want to come to the arm balance. The higher you go, the easier it will be for the arm balance because you'll be less likely to slide. So once you're twisted, hands down, facing, again, the long edge of the mat. That left hip is going to float in space as you put a little bend in your elbows. That left leg will float up. So you're basically just stepping your foot onto your arm. It doesn't take a lot of arm strength, but it does take a lot of leg strength, hip strength, and flexibility. How did it go? We have another side to try. I'm going to put my computer here so I can watch you as I do it. So left ankle to thigh. That can't move as you find your twist. So at no point can this leg thing turn into half lotus. That is something else entirely. Keep your hips up as you slide your weight over. Keep pushing your foot into your arm. Carrie, you look confused. Preguntas. What is the question?
I think I'm confused. Are my hips and my hands the same direction, or are they?
Let's see. Your hips and your hands are going to be the same way. So if I'm facing you, my left foot is on the floor. My hands are going to face the same way as my standing foot. So my right hand is coming down kind of close to me. Now the left hand has to reach out. Sort of like, remember when we do side crow? It's similar to that. It's actually kind of exactly the same as that. When we did this, we've done this a million times.
That helps. Thank you.
So it's the same as that, just with this crazy hip situation. So give it a try again. I want to see, and I want it to become a little easier. And keep looking forward. Good. Okay. Very nice. So you'll notice that stepping on your arm is really the nuance of this pose. So we're going to try one more thing. If you want to make it easier, but you still want an arm balance, you could come into that side crow instead. My toes would face the long edge. My hands would come down. My right hip is floating since I'm going in that direction. So that would be an alternative. This is what I'm going to attempt to show you is going to make it harder. I'm trying to decide which direction to face. Who knows? Okay, I'm going to face, I don't know, this way. I don't know why. Okay, so I have my foot up, just like I did. Flying pigeon style, I'm going to take my twist. And it might take me a sec to get there. Okay. So my hands are going to come down. I'm going to make sure that this is comfy. And I'm going to push down and let that left leg extend back. Oof. It's tough, which is why my leg didn't get too high. But it's fun. So give it a try if you want. I'm going to do the other side to balance myself out. So it starts the same exact way with the twist and with the dragonfly. When I want to extend the leg back, I have to push harder, foot into arm. Ooh, it's fun, but dang, is it hard. So you decide if you want to make your life easier or harder. Good, and Carrie, keep your elbows in. Yes. Keep leaning forward. Good, so Carrie, for you, the foot is sort of close to the elbow, so it's a bit precarious. But as your foot gets higher on the arm, you'll be able to stay there forever. Because this is one of those poses that looks really fancy, but once the foot is in the sweet spot, it's relatively easy compared to some other poses. But getting into the twist that deep is crazy hard. So Lisa, did you love that variation? We need like someone back there holding the leg. Oy, oy, oy. Nice. All right, so let's find tabletop again. On your inhale, lift your chest and sitting bones. Let's press the downward dog for the exhale. Let's bring the right leg forward to pigeon. We're going to add a stretch for the back leg. You can either reach for your back foot with your right hand and pull it in, or you can take your Bakasana grip, which is your left hand, to your foot, also pulling it in. So it's basically, do you want the twist or do you want the shoulder stretch that is Bakasana? Okay, let's get out of there. Switch sides. Very simple. Left leg in front. Okay, let's release that foot. Swing the legs around. And let's try to roll down to our backs from kind of that C shape we did before. So feet will be out there, we hold the legs. We'll create the C shape first, and we'll start to walk the hands down the legs so that we can feel like our low back is going to wind up on the ground. You could also put the hands on the floor to help you get down there. There should be a pain-free descent. If it hurts, choose something else. Okay, then heels close to your hips. Let's lift the hips up. And for this one, let's try to get our hands under the hips. So come onto the balls of the feet. Slide your palms under the hip bones. Try to keep the shoulders down. And if you can, put the heels on the floor again. And try to relax a bit so that your belly can stretch out from all the ab work that you've done. Let's lift the heels again, slide the hands away, and come down to your back. We'll just do one more back bend from the ground. You decide if it's that one again, or the Dhanurasana, or something else. And let's come on down. And we'll make our last back bend, Pincha Mayurasana, with sort of the intention of deepening the back bend. So we'll meet in a down dog B. And first you'll just want to get up into your balance. So we were playing with various ways to do that the other day. If you can't get into your balance comfortably, work on those other ways that we did it. And just practice getting up and staying up and breathing when you're up there. If you can balance, then you'll start to look more toward the top of your mat and reach your feet back. Almost like you're going to start to see your toes. But to do that, the balance obviously has to be there first. Carol, move further away from the wall. Even more. That was like an inch that you moved. Not even sure that that counted. And carry your bottom leg, let it bend. Let me show you the bottom leg. You're just a little bit stiff in the bottom leg. So it's gonna be like an absorbable. It is straight when it's up, but then when it comes down, it will bend. So it can push and absorb. So give that a try. It might get a little less with the hard edges. It will be more fluid. And let's carry that bottom foot a little closer to your elbows. Yes. Ooh. It's interesting when I can see fear insert itself into a physical pose. It's like we think of fear as this like intangible concept. If you were playing 20 questions with someone and their thing was fear, that would take you like 100 questions to get it. But it turns out that it's pretty tangible when we see it work in an asana. Okay, let us come onto our backs again. But we are chipping away at it every time we try. Let's make a big diamond shape with the legs, akin to Baddha Konasana, but bigger. Hold on to the shins or the ankles. Pull yourself through like you would a cat-cow scenario, and then round yourself. Do this a few more times. See if you can find the Mula Bandha initiation even here. It's a little bit harder because you have more to distract you than when you were standing or when you were hands and knees, rather. Okay, and let's straighten the legs. Fold forward for Paschimottanasana. You'll get to this place where you think you can't fold anymore. And if you apply an element of that Uddiyana Kriya, not 100%, because then you can't breathe, but just that lift, it will give you an extra little oomph to get over the hump. If you do have a bolster, like a traditional yoga bolster, it feels amazing if you put it right at the hip crease and you fold over it. I don't have one of those, and all the studios closed before I could steal one. Okay, so make your way into Shavasana. If there's anything you need first, do that.
Take a few more breaths. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Plan how you'd like to rise and make it as easy as possible. Keep the eyes closed. Let's make gentle fists and place them at the hip crease on each side and just fold forward gently over those gentle fists. Take a breath there. Namaste.